I want to have a moment of silence for all my monies that left my. I don't even know what account is linked to my WinBet account, but all the monies that left my account and matriculated their way into the WinBet app. House monies, nonetheless, but they're gone now, and there's no getting them back. And I need to change. I can't gamble like I gambled last night. I was a degenerate. I was the guy that needs to call the hotline. I got mad at the 1 p.m.s and took them out on the 4 p.m.s. You know the deal.
Yep.
Jags money line under in Green Bay. Bucks first half. Bucks live line over in Indy. Not even close. Jets won. San Francisco in 5 teasers. Okay. Thought 7 points would be enough.
It kept it within 30.
Yeah, it did. And then the under in San Francisco, which was excruciating.
Man.
Then I bet the over Sunday night. Guys, I was on fire. Not in a good way yesterday. So I'll be stopping now until tonight. And, hey, can I say this? Fuck the Dolphins. All right? All I need you guys to do is score some fucking points. I get talked into them over a whole offseason. I got to be nice to Tua because I said something mean about the deep ball. I got to kiss your asses, and then I bet the over just on the strength of you guys being a fucking machine offensively. Well, when you look closer, you're not a machine offensively. You had one good half against Baltimore. You scored 14 points on offense against fucking Buffalo. You scored 0 points in the second half last night. Kick the field goal. Just take the fucking points. The offense outside the Ravens has not been that good. I don't want to make this about Miami. This is about my gambling. And I'll take this moment to be quiet and take the moment of silence, okay?
These are my win bet.
Kyle, it was a fucking moment of silence. Now I got to bet tonight.
There you go.
This
you can
was
bet with that.
catharsis
Those are
for
my
me,
win
dude.
bet winnings from last week.
Okay,
Could
bet
I
the
interest
over
you in
in
any
the Chiefs game.
tennis live lines, which go all day long?
No.
Bro, I worked so hard. I worked tirelessly to climb out of a hole this weekend and did so well. I'm like 75% out of that hole.
Give me a Borna Koric.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to jump into the app. Borna Koric. I know there's some scar tissue with Borna Koric, but there are ways out of this hole, and I'm sorry for your
Fucking Dolphins, man.
They could be great. They might be great.
The first 15, they're great.
Mostert,
Mike McDaniel's got a great play sheet.
outside zone.
True.
Yeah, to get Edmonds off the field, dude.
Yes.
Just give me Mostert.
Yes.
But holy shit, dude. I had the over in that game. The first 5 minutes of that game seemed like it was going to hit in the,
Could have
in
been
the first quarter.
21-0.
Okay, guys, I had a bad day. Okay, so we're going to flush it. We're going to move on. And I'm going to bet the fuck out of Monday night. What do you think the right play is? The chase continues.
I'm going to look up who's playing.
It's absolutely the Patriots, 100% the Patriots.
You know planet Earth when there's like
take the under.
a cougar running after a bunch of elk, and eventually he just tries to fucking eat them all, and then he gets tired and stops? I'm not going to stop.
Just keep going.
I'm going to bet the Patriots
You're
tonight.
on trend. A cougar
Like
on trend.
big. I'm going to bet the Patriots big tonight.
This might not make you feel any better,
Yeah.
but I'm on a little 2-team teaser.
Yeah.
Steelers plus 14, which is now in the pass for you, and
now you get it.
Patriots minus 1.
I want you to win.
Thanks.
I got a question for you, Chris. Yeah. Would you be as heavily invested in the Patriots if I told you that Mac Jones was for sure the starter?
It kind of doesn't matter for me.
Okay.
No
I'm
offense to
betting
the Bears.
heavy. I'm betting heavier if it's a Zappy-led team.
Really?
Yeah.
No, Mac Jones is the guy.
You got to stick with the hot hand.
I don't know
Download, bet, win.
I agree to disagree.
I don't know if the guy's in New England. Maybe they need to trade for Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Oof.
Okay, let's talk about our weekend. I mean, a couple of us were there. We went to New York. And I blame what I just talked about on fucking New York City turned me into a big dumb animal. I came home and I just sought stimulus. I just sat on the couch alone. You fuckers, we took the day off, so I was alone. Nobody was like, Chris, stop. You know, like it was always like, stop. Like, just stop.
I tried to bounce you off Sunday Ticket as much as I could.
You did, bro. I kept getting kicked off Sunday Ticket. One of my TVs wasn't fucking working. I'm mashing the app. I'm getting kicked out of Sunday Ticket. I'm like, who the fuck is signing in? I give
That was me.
everybody the day off.
I want to apologize for that, but it was working beautifully the last couple of weeks. I wasn't kicked off
Well,
once.
because I was home and I had to use my computer to watch 3 of the 6 games that I was betting on.
So talk to us about Yankee Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
The Yankees have been bounced, by the way.
Yeah,
I noticed Scott's
Scott,
New
we're
York
sorry.
Yankee hat is off his head.
Yeah, he changed his hat.
That's funny.
Scott, first off, thank you to Scott for giving us a great weekend. Bought a ton of tickets. Dudes went up. We got to experience Yankee Stadium. Also, kind of put me in the crosshairs, Scott, because I didn't put it together when you asked if we wanted to go to the Yankees game in October 22nd. Just a date to me. I'm not really thinking about the Phils at that point. One day at a time. I don't want to jinx the Phils. But, people in Philly are on my head because I'm at the Yankees game and not the Phillies game.
That's a shame, though.
Which is one of my favorite things in the world. Like, listen, Philly, like, you're my favorite place in the world. I stroke you guys all the fucking time. I wanted to take my crew to New York City for the weekend. We had business to attend to, and we wanted to go to the Yankees game. Okay? Kill me.
Frickin' Jason Peters over here.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Exactly. Just fucking kill me.
Benedict
and
Arnold.
I was doing Oppo research. I know a little bit more about Houston than I did Saturday afternoon.
Hit us.
I
Go
love that
ahead.
angle.
Download.
Okay? There's a guy named Alvarez. He hits the ball a long fucking way. Okay? A lot of people yell at a guy named Altuve. Fuck you, Altuve. I heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay? They don't cheat anymore. Dusty Baker.
Legend.
Right now that Garrett Cole moved to the Yankees.
I thought
they're
Garrett Cole was
cleansed.
pitching for the fucking Astros Saturday night because the Yankees couldn't hit a goddamn baseball.
I haven't been in one of those stadiums. I don't know, 5 years. How was the baseball? How was the experience?
It was like I was like a foreigner, dude. I've never been in a situation like that before. It was like walking into a new country. It was like a baseball game. I haven't been in a baseball game in forever. I used to go to Cardinals games every now and again. But to go to Yankee Stadium, which was really cool. I know it's not the old one. And the Audi Lounge is hideous. There's a bunch of black windows in center field. You see it on TV. It looks even worse in person. But the stadium is pretty good looking. It's very clean. It's clean enough that Billy Football, who we ran into, dropped a Zin in the concourse and put it back in his mouth at 1 a.m.
Well, I don't know how much that says. I don't know how much
I know. But the bottom line is these fans, man, they are awesome. Like Yankees fans, I know like people probably have their preconceived notions about them, but we got to go to Billy's, the sports bar right next to the stadium, and people get off the subway and walk down the steps by the stadium, and there's a rooftop part of Billy's, which is a madhouse. I mean, people are getting like booed like a motherfucker in Billy's. We were walking down the stairs, and people started booing, and I thought it was because people thought we were Astros fans. Luckily, there was one at the bottom of the stairs. Kingston had on he had orange on his hat.
Yeah.
He almost got us killed, bro.
I had a UVA hat on. I was super paranoid the whole time. There was guys like staring me down. I was not trying to be a fan of the Astros.
But you're
Complete
out there,
accident.
you're out at Billy's, and dudes are just walking off the subway like loads of people every 5-7 minutes or whatever it is. And these Yankees fans, they have so many traditions. I mean, like you could just tell, like they know they have their way of doing things. And every time these people got off the subway and walked down the stairs, people start cheering and screaming at them. They hype each other up. It was like every 5 minutes. I loved it. I felt like I was part of Yankees Nation.
What did you feel about the fans in the stadium? Were they smarter than football fans situationally?
Oh, dude, I heard some great analysis in the bathroom. I was taking a leak. When you just hear a bunch of people pissing, and there was a guy pissing. And he was talking to another guy pissed, and he was like, Yankees can't win if we get no hit. And then the other guy was like, that's a great point. And then he just finished pissing. Oh, my God. The Yankees fans are amazing. They are just so – I don't know how to put it. And, Scott, you could probably tell me what the word is, but when Rizzo lined out with two guys on, there was a guy behind us that just went, ah! It was like quiet and one just fucking scream. Like they really care a lot. Sometimes I think people are just acting like they care about baseball because it's like a big tradition. Because I could get lost in the tradition of baseball, but it actually like they fucking care, dude, a lot.
Big fans.
A lot.
There's ride or die on every single play, and I know exactly the person who yelled. I know exactly who you're talking about as well. Unfortunately, we saw a pretty dead game. Like literally nothing happened. Like zero positive plays for the New York Yankees. So the crowd wasn't as what it could be, but it was a good time. And I take full blame for bringing everybody up to the Bronx. Had to see it. It's good times.
Well,
at this point, like real hard, go Phillies.
Considering scared straight. Okay, yeah, go Phillies. But like we've seen everything. I want to take us up to Philly for the World Series. Dude.
I would love to do that.
I would love to do that as a group. Would you possibly do that?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, that'd be sick.
Can we take the train?
Hollow Man Scott.
I love trains.
Hollow Man Scott, because ticket prices for Game 3
Oh, yeah.
were like $1 billion,
Yeah.
and then ticket prices for Game 4 were $20. So Scott bought like a fuck ton of tickets. You should have just took us to Game 4.
So I had a few extras.
I wouldn't have gambled, but bro, yesterday
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
would have won.
It hurt me in real time as well because I had a few extras that I'm sitting on the sites, right? They're sitting on there.
Yeah.
Not happening. Second inning, I went boom down to like $25. So now I know what the people bought and they're going to sit right in front of me. So we had a conversation. I was like, hey, great deal on those tickets, huh, buddy? It's like, yep.
So
great
did you
deal.
know the guy that I snapped a picture of somewhere during the 8th inning when you guys were just like you couldn't hit a baseball? There was a guy in front of me. He was maybe 55, 60 years old, and he was Googling Derek Jeter's stats just for like the entire inning. And I snapped a picture of him, like the back of his head. This is pretty funny. Objectively, there's a guy just longing for Derek
Down
Jeter.
5-0.
Down 5-0. And that's the thing about baseball. You have time to do that shit. Like the viewing experience is awesome. You can take a break. You can go do something. You can yell at the players. There was a guy behind me yelling at all the players.
Every player.
He had a very creative way of yelling at the players.
Yeah.
Like all of them. It was very personal.
Couple lunatics in that bunch.
Fuck you, Altuve.
Your fans should have been sent videos of the Sox come back from 3 games
Right.
to nothing
Sound-
to get fired up for Game 4.
It's a great idea, right?
Yeah.
But someone in the front office and in the clubhouse had that exact idea.
Wait, what happened?
Thought it was a tremendous idea to pipe in video highlights of the Red Sox coming back in 2004 against the New York Yankees to motivate the New York
Love
Yankees
it.
to come back against the Houston Astros.
Love everything about
One
that.
of the most embarrassing moments for the franchise, I think, in history, to be honest.
And
It's-
get
that's
Poppy on
awful.
like
FaceTime.
head
for
should
good
roll for
measure.
that alone. And I heard Marley, one of the writers for MLB, was talking about like how this originally happened too. And apparently, this is full circle here. David Ortiz was wearing a Brian Dawkins jersey in some place. Marley Rivera had said this, and apparently Brian Dawkins is Aaron Boone's favorite football player. So they FaceTimed so that he could see the Brian Dawkins jersey, and then started talking about the comeback, and then like piped in with everybody.
And then they
else.
used it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great.
I mean,
great.
what are we
Aaron
doing?
Boone just taking
What are we
W's
doing?
left and right, like complaining about the wind after Game 2. Both teams had access.
They were
to the
playing
wind.
dirty water between every inning of Game 4 in Yankee Stadium.
That's not true,
Trying
but
to
yes.
get that.
Well,
get that
how about
Bo Sox mojo?
How about him? Is that gross song by the
Oh, it's such a good
Dropkick
song.
Murphys? That song
Yeah.
fucking
They played
sucks
it.
so
They
much.
song.
played at Fenway Park.
If you ever took me to one of those torture facilities, they just put me in a room and play that song. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs, one of the more egregious things that the Yankees have been doing, and last night it felt 1,000 times worse. Start Spreading the News plays on the stadium as the Astros beat the Yankees, and they're playing Start Spreading the News through the loudspeakers at Yankee Stadium while they are celebrating the win against the Yankees.
Sad bunch.
Egregious.
Watching the very end of Game 4 last night, right? Like, I mean, I guess you have to because you're within striking distance, but that's the thing about baseball. It's over for a while. It's not like football where your team collapses in 5 minutes. Like you've got a couple days to prepare to die.
Yeah,
You
there's
know
a
what I
there's a
mean?
feeling.
There's a feeling.
Of the group, how were the fits? Everybody feel good about what they were wearing? I know
Break them down.
Matt was wearing orange and blue.
Yeah, well, I looked like the Unabomber.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like I usually do, pretty much. I just didn't have sunglasses on.
Here's what I did for fun. I planned my outfit for the trip I didn't
Yeah.
go on. So wear a nice navy hoodie with an LT jersey over top.
Oh,
because I'm
nice.
no Yankees fan, but I wanted to, fit in. They would think that I was one of them.
That would have worked.
Really-
That
yeah,
would have
it
played big time, bro.
Maybe a gray jean.
That would have played big time, bro.
Could have used LT over the weekend.
I did
Yeah.
a flannel hoodie, and then when we got home, I went back to the hotel to put on a dinner flannel.
Yeah.
Because we went out. We went everywhere, dude. Billy Football gets the St. Louis Memorial Award for like shepherding us through that city. He was like a translator or something. Like when because at the end of the game when things were getting rough, Matt was like, Billy Football is in the next section. Like his face, he was so excited that Billy Football was there. I was like, where, dude? And then we ran right into Billy Football up in the concourse. That's where he dropped us in and somehow had the wherewithal to put it back in at one in the morning. I don't know, wherewithal would be the right word.
That's amazing.
He helped us find the right train. He
hung
helped
out
us
with us for like 6-7 hours
until he couldn't hang
until he
anymore.
Irish goodbye.
He couldn't hang anymore.
I outdrank him.
That was a big W.
Yeah.
That we put Billy Football to bed. Now, Billy Football deserves a lot of praise. He's the reason we even had a great time at all. So I love the guy, and it was so good to see him in person. Billy Football's a big guy.
Big dude.
Yeah.
A big guy.
Y'all got about 15, 16 years on him too.
Yeah, I know. That's
Age.
I felt like that was a big win for
Yeah.
us. When Billy disappeared without announcing, I was like, man, we still got it. Okay, ready for America's teams.
And shout out to Al Collins. Great to meet you.
Oh, Nate's dad
Al
was
Cowlings
there.
was there?
Yeah,
Collins.
Oh, Collins.
Al Collins.
Oh, Al Cowlings.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Damn.
No.
You guys are in good company.
Al Cowlings should do a car service.
Hard cut.
Yeah.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, but Al Collins is just innocent, period. He's a great person. I love Nate's dad so much. So much.
Might should change his name to Al Fax.
Yes. And it's so fun watching them interact like they're just two buddies.
Yes.
And they just bicker like buddies and poke each other.
His
like
dad looks
buddies.
just like him. It's
They
crazy.
are just, the genetics be like that, except for
Yeah.
with you fucking mutant.
I don't know. I don't look
Where
like
the fuck did
anybody.
you come from?
I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
Bradley Cooper do steroids and then
Stop it.
have sex with a
I'm gone.
Ukrainian gymnast to make you?
Dude.
Okay. All right. America's teams.
Got him.
I'll should I go first? Because you know what's coming.
The Philadelphia Phillies are coming.
And I got to do this, but I mean it. It's not just I'm not just making good because we were at Yankee Stadium Saturday night. I'm making good because they are America's team. They're literally red, white, and blue. Okay, they're going to the World Series. That atmosphere was fucking electric. I mean, like that, the rain, like just nasty. It was like Philly weather, dude. And Bryce Harper is now a dude in the postseason. Like this run is incredible. He's like the new Mr. October. I don't get out ahead of myself here, Kyle. But you asked that question last week on Twitter, and I think it was a good one. I think it's probably David Ortiz, right? Is he this generation's Mr. October? Scott, would you say? I know it's painful for you, but it might be cathartic.
Man Ram.
Or the
Keith Folk.
Yeah, Keith Folk. No, David Ortiz used to scare the shit out of me.
What's the pitcher from the Giants? That's
Timmy
Mad
Lincecum?
Bum.
Mad Bum.
Mad Bum.
Yeah,
That's my pitching.
Mad Bum
Mr.
more like
October.
Mr. Complainer. Complains about everything.
He didn't. He didn't when he was with
looked
the
at his
Giants.
home run.
Hey,
You
what?
guys having a conniption out
Watch
there.
this. Watch what I can do.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Gene Segura.
Oh.
JT Realmuto.
Yeah.
Reese Hopkins.
Yeah. What a
Great
spelling.
name.
That might be all I can do, but pretty good.
There's a few of them out there.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not like a baseball fanatic, but no pun intended. This is fucking awesome. And his dinger had to be the best feeling in sports in 2022. Make a play that makes you feel better than hitting that fucking piss missile out of the ballpark. I mean, like that is stuff of legend. If they win the World Series, that's statue territory for him.
Mm-hmm.
And all the angles they have now, and all the 4K footage, and
I have chills, dude.
Like the Greenlight Twitter had a Bryce Harper POV from the dugout, really, in like 4K, and it was amazing. There's no commentary. All you hear is the crack of the bat and the fans, and there's nothing like it. And they said, "What else sounds this good in sports?" I was thinking like maybe Tiger flushing a drive at the U.S. Open, and all the people around him going crazy. But
This isn't sports, Kyle, but a dog lapping up water
Yeah.
is my favorite sound.
that's good.
Okay.
They actually dig it with the back of their tongue, the bottom of their tongue. They scoop it that way.
You like
you
that
serious?
sound?
They don't go
Yeah.
that way.
Oh, yeah.
I love that
The
sound.
tongue doesn't go that way. It goes this way and scoops it up
I
like an
did not know
elephant's
that.
trunk. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Thank you for
Bryce
that.
Harper's bat went that way, and he hit it the other way, which is so impressive. I mean, just the power. Oh, see how I steered us out of dog
was
lapping
great.
up water.
That was great.
So John Middleton walked up to him after the game and was like, "I think we underpaid you." They paid him $330 million. Like, this guy is a fucking legend, and amazing what winning does. Because when he was in Washington, and it's not that they weren't winning, but they didn't win the whole thing. Like, he was thought of kind of like this. I don't know. What was your take on Bryce Harper?
Well, the media machine did him no favors. Like he came in with everybody being like, "Oh, this hot shot."
Yeah.
he had to overcome a very high hurdle to become likable.
in a weird way. And now he's like,
he does a lot of that to himself, though.
really?
Yeah, I'm going to say this because I love Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I do, and he's a freak, and he's got a great stroke, and I think he plays the game the way
we
it's
want to have
supposed
him on
be
the
played.
podcast.
And he didn't win
But
that
here's the
title
deal.
with Washington.
Here's the deal.
right?
As a bald guy, I always take notice of people's hair, and his hair is always visible because his helmet always comes off. You know, that beautiful flow. Maybe I'm a hater because of the hair.
I think you're being a hater.
But I don't know. I think a lot of people share this sentiment where it's like,
Well,
hey,
there's a
just
lot of haters
put
out
the
there.
flow away.
Yeah.
We see it.
So his lettuce is too good. So
That's
you're holding
like,
that
you
against
know,
him in the
it's
year
like
of
a
our
porn
Lord.
star just walking around with mesh shorts with no undies on. It's like, hey, man, why are you doing this to everybody?
Showing the dick.
Why are you doing this?
So, actually, they're not that big in reality. It's all camera angles.
Okay.
Okay. But Bryce Harper does have great hair.
I'm going to say your team now. Your team. It is your team. Your
Yeah.
team's got a Jason Worth looking cat.
Yeah, dude, the guy,
Yeah.
every time
I'm
he
like,
walks up to
wow,
the plate,
Jason Worth must be 45 years old right now, but it's not Jason Worth.
no, the Geico caveman, just, just totally growing that beard out like Forrest Gump running across the country looking
Like Johnny
ass.
Damon looking, dude.
But bro, these guys are fun. They're hot, right? I don't mean it like that. They're hot. It's the hottest team in baseball, which is always a fun thing to see. A
They're
team
hot.
that a month ago you
Jason
didn't-
Worth looking cat's pretty hot.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody
Bryce
named
Harper,
Reese?
hot or not?
Anybody named Reese can get it.
That's tough for me. And I mean, not hot.
Matt's moist from the dinger. He's go
Did you
Bryce
see him
Harper.
talking about those Philly fans? Like it's like
He looks hot talking about the
Yeah,
Phillies,
he
man.
said that there's 40,000 in the stadium. We got 40,026 on this team. He gets it.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
Bryce's full name is Bryce Aaron Max Harper. That's Bam Harper. He
Okay.
should go by Bam. If he went by Bam,
That-
much more
everybody
likable.
would
Bam
love it.
Harper.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Bam
Great point.
Harper.
Great
Good
point.
point.
Okay, let me just put a
Great
bow on
point.
them as the number one team in America right now.
That's awesome.
They're also the real Space City.
Ooh.
This from CBS. Philadelphia Orchestra to play key role on NASA's launch day Monday.
Key roll.
Well, whatever they launched in August is going further than anything they've ever launched before. This is according to CBS. And they couldn't have done it without the Philadelphia Orchestra. That's not all, guys. Philly has 6 astronauts. Houston has, according to my research, not as many. And then also,
Which is ironic.
the first black astronaut in space was born in Philadelphia. Guion S. Bluford, Penn
Nice.
State grad. So Space City, I think not. I think Space City is Philly. And I cannot wait to troll the fuck out of all these Houstonians who take so much pride in their rockets.
The first game in Philly is Halloween.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Monday, October 31st.
They should play the orchestra at Independence Hall, and it would be a
We should go
Perfect.
in costume.
Yeah.
America
we
and
should
space.
go in like full costume, dude.
Getting through the ticket thing, gotta be a bear when you're.
That's what we're
having to
doing. We're
take
going
off,
Monday. We're going Monday as a group. We're going Monday as a group, Halloween, okay?
We can
Okay.
leave right after
Well,
taping this
I
program.
got to confirm, but yes.
Okay, but we're in
There you go.
costumes, so nobody knows. Like
That's the sound of
nobody's
a
like,
married
oh,
man."
making plays.
Yeah.
Making plays.
Get
We got to
that a lot,
cover
yeah.
your face and shit.
Yeah.
Okay. 2, there were guys smoking darts in the fucking locker room last night for the Phillies, America's team.
That's
Okay,
incredible.
Space City. Number 2, I'll go Eagles. Number 3,
Flyers.
Jackson State. Okay, Jackson State. They're building something here, buddy.
Yep.
Did you see the scene at their homecoming, dude?
Shador.
Did you see the fucking scene?
I did not.
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. They had Rick Ross. They had Snoop Dogg. It was fucking electric.
Oh, I
know
did
that-
see Snoop in the locker room with them.
Yeah. You know the champagne bottle thing?
That's incredible.
How we said like champagne should be out and they should hotbox locker rooms. Like, yeah, that would be sick. Snoop Dogg hotboxing after a win in the
The
locker room.
tinfoil comes out on the doors and
Yeah,
shit.
that would be amazing. Dion did a 60 Minutes lately. I mean, he's really building something. So I just want to give a nod to Jackson State. I mean, they can make the playoff, right? Like
Coach Prime. not
FCS,
Dion.
HBCU teams make the FCS playoff. Yeah, at large bids.
Coach
So,
Sanders.
I'm pulling for Jackson State. That's cool. Coach Prime. Sorry, Coach Prime.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 4, I'm gonna go Tennessee. I didn't forget about you. And then number 5, the New England Patriots, because I'm gonna put a fucking scooter on the Patriots tonight in some capacity.
You want to talk out the capacity? Like, do you have the stones to do 8.5, 8.5?
Yeah, I do, but I want to see where the money is.
Okay.
You know, because I feel like all of America is going to be on the Patriots.
Are you
gonna-
taking the Bears plus 8.5? If we do a side bet?
What?
You know what? I'll probably hammer the alt line.
Okay. Just don't tease Pats in the under.
I'm not going to do that.
Like 2 years ago, you would have done that.
I would have definitely done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. America's teams, the Utah Jazz, number one America's teams. These cats are trying to tank for Crown Vic, and they're 3-0.
Yeah, that's good.
The Utah Jazz are 3-0. They've beat the Nuggets, the T-Wolves, and the Pelicans, three of the West's best teams. Top 5 players: Lauri Markkanen. Stop me when you've heard of somebody. Jordan Clarkson, Kelly Olynyk.
Yep.
Colin
Didn't
Sexton.
I can spell that.
Malik
Jordan
Beasley.
Clarkson fuck one of them Kardashians?
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, no.
Cousin.
Was Jordan Clarkson with a Kardashian, or did he just hang out?
You're
around
thinking
the
of Chris Humphreys.
No.
Yeah, he's the only guy that got out clean, dude. What's he doing right now?
You're thinking of Tristan Thompson.
No.
Jordan Clarkson's with somebody.
Kendall Jenner,
I'm
perhaps?
with you, Chris.
Jordan Clarkson.
There you go.
Yes.
You got it.
I'm with you. I didn't know if that was.
Go ahead. Continue your America's teams.
Was he on the Lakers?
We do gossip.
He did used to be on the Lakers.
That makes sense.
Utah Jazz. Then I'm going TCU. TCU wins over K-State. All right. Are they still unbeaten? TCU unbeaten? Yeah. TCU. What's not to like about TCU?
They do this.
They do that. Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are on. You're rooting for the Seahawks. Geno. I'm sad that DK went out. That turf monster is grabbed a couple guys yesterday. It was that part.
What they
was
say
not
about
pretty.
that?
They won't know until today. That's what Pete Carroll said.
Amazing.
So either they got to wait for inflammation to go down to see what's really going in.
Not great,
me?
but Kenneth Walker was incredible. Marquise Goodwin. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are going Marquise these days.
Yeah.
When in the past you would have said a Marquise.
I know a guy named Marquise.
Yeah, I do too.
Kenneth Rusher.
Yeah, Kenneth touchdown scorer.
Can't do Kenneth Runner because Mina did that already. Kind
Kenneth
of her joke.
Kenneth like 168 something yards.
Guy's a beast.
On the ground.
Yeah.
They're just you root for them. Right?
Yeah, dude, they're
you
fun.
Just root for
They're
them.
fun, and those uniforms look good yesterday together.
Yeah.
The grays look really
Love
good.
the gray pants.
That's the best the grays have looked to me.
Yep. New York Giants chalky, but the Cats are 6-1.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, come on, red, white, and blue.
Dayball
Red, white,
cigar,
and blue.
victory cigar.
Yes.
Is that a little bit cart before the horse, smoking the victory cigar in week 7?
No,
Week
because he
6?
won that day.
I get it, but
Win
like
the day,
victory
Oregon.
cigars are supposed to be after like
Win the day, Oregon.
not
You
the
want to
Jaguars.
be careful about that. If the Giants win too much, you can get cancer that way.
Shout out to Tom Coughlin for not being involved in a Giants Jaguars game for the first time in history.
Oh yeah, I don't think I heard the name once.
Coughlin, yeah.
In
Margins
any capacity.
of victory and the one defeat for the Giants this year: 1, 3, 7, 8, 5, 4, 6.
Cardiac calves.
Cardiac calves. Cardiac. Gents.
It does remind me of our senior year where we barely won games,
Yep.
but we won them.
And finally, I'm going back to a well too. Georgia Tech. Now I put them on there for just playing the best
Thank
teams
you.
in the country, getting hammered.
you. Yeah.
I'm now putting them on not because they lost to the University of Virginia on Thursday night in a barn burner, 16-9 in Atlanta, but because Josh Pastner, a couple tried to extort my guy Josh Pastner.
Yep.
So these folks, this couple in Arizona, I think, said that Josh Pastner tried to have sex with them in some hotel room.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Yeah. And it turned out to be completely false. And let me talk to you about Josh Pastner. I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota
Okay.
for the Final Four a couple years back. And Josh Pastner is wearing a polo shirt tucked into jeans with a pin behind his ear. He's waiting for an Uber, and then he gets in the front seat of the Uber. Who gets in the front seat of an Uber?
With nobody else in there?
Nobody else in there.
Do you think that supports the hypothesis?
He's
Trying
not
to
having
have
sex with a
trying to have
couple in a
sex with
hotel
couple?
room when you're getting in the front seat of an
Oh,
Uber with
I
polo
thought that
tucked into
strengthens
jeans,
the-
pin behind the ear. He's a lovable
No, he seems awesome.
loser,
All I'm saying is,
respectfully.
like,
The COVID shield was not a.
Fuck
remember,
the COVID shield.
He had the. I like the guy. I like the guy a lot. And it's now come out that
Josh
he did
Pastner
not
walks
try to
in
have
here.
sex.
Josh Pastner busts down the door at the Hampton Inn with the COVID shield
Right.
on and no
And he did not do
clothes.
that. That was a lie.
Like the Kool-Aid man.
So you picked the wrong. What's it called when you pick somebody for a crime? You picked the wrong
fingered the
guy.
wrong-
Mark.
You marked the wrong finger with Josh Pastner. He's not trying to have sex with you guys in hotel rooms. So the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are now one of America's
So
teams.
good that they're
Kyle.
included.
That was I just had to Google.
so
I had,
good
to,
that
I had
they're
to Google his face, and I'm not quite sure.
He looks
where I
like
stand.
my college or my pro medical doctor Benjamin Voss. Google Benjamin Voss real quick. Okay, shout out to Ben Voss.
So I've got a couple America's teams. The first of which won at Circuit of the Americas yesterday in the Formula One.
Yeah, is that Josh Pastner?
I'm sorry, Kyle, but Dr. Benjamin Voss.
Benjamin Voss got
might be
handcuffed in
Josh
St.
Pastner.
Louis last night because they thought he was having sex with people
Look at
in
that.
the hotel.
That is Josh Pat. That might have been the guy. Did he? Does he try to?
I don't want to get my old doctor in trouble. He's a no, he's a great guy.
Toledo.
He's a great
we
guy.
know Dr. Benjamin.
Dr.
It's your
Voss.
ortho.
Also, the commissioner of, no, not the commissioner, unfortunately. That's Tyler Williams, head trainer at the Minnesota Vikings, because he's a terrible commissioner. But Benjamin Voss, he's in my fantasy football league.
If you want to pick a college basketball coach who might have had sex with you and your husband in a hotel room in Arizona, I don't know.
Rick Pitino.
John Calipari, Rick Pitino.
Oh, I don't know. The guy down south.
K.
Who's the guy down south with who's always looked red in the
Bruce
face?
Pearl.
Bruce Pearl.
Bruce Pearl.
And I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying, like,
No,
it's
but
not
that's
Josh
a good call.
Pastner.
Yeah. Josh Pastner is like fingering Mick Cronin. Mick Cronin's not going to a Hampton Inn.
No.
All right.
You guys are unbelievable.
Okay. Kyle's America's team. So
You know
sorry.
way too much about sports, you two.
So sorry.
Okay, so America's team, Red Bull Motorsports.
Tried to
Think we know about
survive.
sports?
Red Bull Racing won at COTA. Max Verstappen won again. That's the only Formula One track in the United States of America.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous one, Austin, Texas. It's a boring race, kind of. There's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just kind of, wherever you qualify is where you're going to finish.
Yeah.
There was a wreck at the beginning. The first place guy wrecked. Max Verstappen won on somebody else's misfortune. Pretty American there, I think.
Don't we want more passing?
We do want more passing, which is the issue with the track, which is why I
Okay.
bring it up.
Kyle Larson in this race? You were talking
Kyle
about America?
Larson is not in this race.
Oh.
Skillful enough probably to be in that race.
Yeah.
I think these
Hateful enough.
hateful enough.
Hey, some lady was down in Max Verstappen in the airport.
Yeah, so I was in LaGuardia at the terminal, and I was enjoying a nice prosciutto flatbread, which was delicious. And there was a couple watching the beginning of the race on the laptop, and I said, who qualified first? And they were like, oh, Carlos did, Sainz, Ferrari. I said, where's Max? And they're like, Max, why are you worried about Max? Like, oh, everybody loves Max. I was like, hey, don't worry about it. The race started, wreck before the first turn, Carlos Sainz out, Max to the front.
You
I was
can't
like,
be-
I got to go board my flight.
But you can't be an F1 hipster. They're all hipsters anyways. If you're watching F1, you don't really like it.
I like Max Verstappen because his dad was a race car driver. I can relate to
Thank
that.
you for finally saying that.
he
no,
was
I've
around
been
it as
saying,
a kid.
I've been fucking shouting that from the mountaintops above Monaco. You're all hipsters.
Here I was about to watch the
You
whatever
guys have
it is.
Netflix.
Yeah,
I
you're
was-
great.
yeah.
Congratulations.
America's
Have you
team.
seen the cars? They're so fast.
This
It's competitive.
The guys are all handsome, and it's as beautiful as Europe. It's just gorgeous.
And when I tweet about it, very few others are tweeting about it.
Hey, so my number 2 team, the Oregon Ducks, they beat their former coach, Chip Kelly, and the UCLA Bruins. That was supposed to be a close game. It was not a close
sorry,
game.
Steve.
Kyle hates his old coach. That's what
I love Chip Kelly, but I got to give props to Bo Nix. He played well. He had 5 tutties in a big win.
Yeah, okay.
In an in-conference opponent. You go to number 3, the middle of the road America's team, the Cowboys. They got their quarterback. They got their quarterback. They got their quarterback back, and they sucked at the beginning. And people were fucking freaking out on Twitter. People were calling for Cooper Rush after the first fucking quarter, which is unbelievable. They could beat that team with running the ball every down. So yeah, number 3, America's team, the Cowboys. Welcome back, Dak Prescott. You looked great. I loved your suit. Number 4, the Alabama NFL alumni.
That's gonna be tough for the graphic.
So, like, I just picture, Najee Harris and Jalen Waddle and, all these guys dapping up after games.
Well, did they have the under?
Probably,
Were they
honestly.
dapping up about
They've
having
been
the
making
under?
money in other ways on football for a long
Honestly,
time.
did
at
Tua and the
Alabama.
Dolphins, they fucking hate me down there. They don't probably know I exist. They might hate me, though, because of the way they played last night, because I made it abundantly clear I needed them to score. What part of score 44 points isn't so fucking hard?
You have all the guys out there. Just throw it around.
Got a bunch of Alabama football players on the field.
And Tyreek.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5 America's team is the Department of Transportation. we're moving into the colder months, and I want to make sure that the people out there in the DOT trucks, VDOT,
Kyle, great pick.
Well, hold on. Yeah.
I hope you guys have a great, safe winter season,
And that they take care of the potholes.
we appreciate all the snow that you're going to get out and all the issues you deal with that we don't even see. Shout out to the Department of Transportation.
Some guy in a VDOT
and I like those
truck
big trucks.
listening to this pod right now. I wonder if there's a guy that works for VDOT listening.
I'm
right
sure
now.
there
But
is.
If there is, thank you.
But are they ever really in danger? Because they're out there like salting the roads, right? They're putting whatever that down. And then they're in the big trucks when they're plowing.
And they get a big spinny light.
the spinny light.
Roll on highway,
But-
roll on home, roll on daddy till you get back home. Roll on family, roll on crew, roll on mama like I asked you to do. And roll on 18-wheeler, roll on. Roll on!
Roll on.
Roll on, VDOT.
I love
Let's go into the
VDOT.
best games.
I'm with
Let's
you.
roll on to the best
I
games.
support that.
The best games, the worst games, the bays, man. Every week, just rinse and repeat this segment. Who are you more worried about it? What's going on in the bays?
I love Rich Eisen. If he doesn't ask you that question on his show today, I'll give you 50 American dollars. Okay.
Well, it is a good question, though. I mean, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And I'll ask this first off, because I got a lot I want to say about Green Bay. Not as much as I want to say about the Bucs and Panthers. But like, where is it worse right now? Who would you? I'm not saying who would you rather be. That's an interesting question.
I'd rather be Green Bay 100%.
I agree.
Because a lot of the pieces that you have in Green Bay, and we talked about this last show, are out of position. Elgton Jenkins went to left tackle. Bakhtiari demoted to the bench because of his injury right before the game. He was doubtful, didn't play.
Yeah.
They have no continuity up front.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has weapons out there. We've talked about the weapons, but they're not the guys he's had in the past. Tom Brady they're throwing the ball 66% of the time in Tampa Bay. Teams are daring them to run it. They're dropping into coverage and
they can't.
And they're saying beat it. They can't run the ball at all.
It's crazy.
They can't run the football.
It's-
And it goes when you can't run the football, you can't do anything.
It's
in this
totally
league.
uninspiring. Like watching that game, it was hard for me to tell which team was shutting it down. And I'm not saying that Tampa's not trying, but the vibes are so incredibly low down there. Also, never underestimate a team full of guys that wants to get traded, like right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to play their fucking asses off. Those guys were out there playing hard. And I do want to give, before we go into how bad these two were, I want to make it about one of the winners in these two games. PJ Walker and Steve Wilkes. I want to give him my game ball, because if you think about Steve Wilkes, you know the situation. He didn't have long in Arizona. You know the deal with black coaches. You know the deal with black quarterbacks. And PJ Walker, and being a guy from another league, right? Like he was an Arena League guy, right? Or XFL.
Yeah,
I
which
mean,
is
like his
awesome.
road has been hard in a lot of ways. And he had a great game last night, threw some dimes, really outplayed Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady, who knows if Mike Evans doesn't drop that football. I mean, that was the worst drop of the season. But Steve Wilkes, man, you have to deal with a lot this week, right? You're trading Christian McCaffrey. You're the interim coach. You've got Robbie Anderson fighting on the fucking sideline last week. You got to go to LA. You got to bring your team back to Carolina. And then you got to host Mad Tom Brady. Like, no one loses to Mad Tom Brady, right? That's why I bet the fucking Bucks first half. That's why I bet the Bucks live. But you got it done. And honestly, like, you're a game out of first in the NFC South, which means nothing. Okay? And the Saints are still in it, and they actually look pretty decent when
And the
they're not
Bucks
throwing
are in
interceptions.
first place. So
And the Bucks are in first place.
Right.
So all told, like, all these teams are alive, but Steve Wilkes, who hasn't had the best opportunities, and this is another one, takes full advantage of it. And that was a really hallmark win for both those guys. PJ Walker gets to beat Tom Brady, dude. One day this guy's sitting in the fucking XFL. He's spot starting for teams. He's going to have this game ball on his wall. Not the green light one, obviously, because it's not real. We could do a metaverse game ball and give it to, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Talk to Dr.
I got a
Fax
guy
about
for that.
He's
I got a
really
guy
into
for that.
But PJ Walker can put this ball on his wall until the end of time. Like PJ Walker's kids or his grandkids, I beat Tom Brady. I got Tom Brady basically off the sticks. And Steve Wilkes, too. That was great.
Hey,
And-
this might not be right. Okay. Pretty good disclaimer. It looks like the last time Christian McCaffrey outgained what Deontay Foreman did yesterday, November 2019.
Oh, that's incredible. That's spicy.
Isn't that something?
It's spicy. And last week, to add to it, like Christian McCaffrey, although this is eye-popping, what you just showed me, like Foreman was great. They ran the ball up the Bucs' ass pretty much. It was a suppository game.
Mm-hmm.
But like suppositories don't hurt, do they?
Not much.
Damn.
But they ran the ball up the Bucs, right in the middle there, and they're supposed to be like a strong run defense. So this Bucs team is playing uninspired. It feels like they have the Super Bowl hangover 2 years late. Like it makes no sense. Well, it makes a lot of sense to me. I didn't think they'd be that good. I bet the under win total. So yesterday,
Perhaps
hopefully,
Tom did not want to be there.
Tom maybe doesn't want to be there.
Like didn't like literally did not, and then was.
But you would
hands
think
tied.
you would think the best medicine for not wanting to be there is playing well enough to make it worthwhile, and it's just not working out. You've got all the distractions of the offseason.
It goes to show how important a leader is in a locker room. Like when a guy steps into Kansas City's locker room, Patrick Mahomes is the first guy there, the last guy to leave. He's there every single day. He takes guys with him wherever he's going, whenever he's going. That's what a leader does in action. That's showing up and doing the things. And when you get a guy like Tom Brady who's got the pelts on the wall, but he's not showing his investment in time and effort the same way with you, it's just not there.
It's not up to his standard. Somebody asked me, like, is Brady, like, I've heard of people missing stuff before for reasons like, like, I don't know about for Robert Kraft's party, or wedding. But I think it's just not up to his standard. Like everything we've seen so far this offseason, he would never have done in New England. Okay, and like that's the bottom line is we can say he's not the problem and he's not a bad guy and he's not a locker room cancer or something. And I don't think they're playing bad because he missed a walkthrough.
Yeah.
I think they're bad. I don't think they're great.
I think they're not good at all, and I think he makes it worse with his habits right now.
Yeah, it does get worse.
Here's a cul-de-sac of a question that won't forward this conversation at all. If it's not the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday, do you think Tom goes to Bob Kraft's wedding party?
That's a great question.
If it's Green Bay?
That's a great question.
Did he just think,
and listen,
this won't be a story?
I think he didn't realize he was going to have to play against Mitch Trubisky, and Mitch Trubisky owns the Bucs.
The leadership axiom or the like different rules for different guys axiom kind of ends like this. It's like as long as you win. Yeah. And that's why last week we were like not a big deal. But when you get beat 21-3 by the Panthers, like then we got to go back and look at the priors here. And it hasn't been a smooth offseason. And you put it nicely, Kyle. I mean, like it's whatever you said.
Leadership.
At present, Bucs a 1-point home dog on Thursday against the Ravens.
I like the Ravens there. I do. I mean, like it's that seems too obvious, but I like the Ravens there. Okay, so this is sad, bro. Like 14 minutes ago, and you decide you're in 4-down territory. You're down 14-0. You go for it on 4th and 2. You get it. Then you run three straight passes. It's 4th and 7, and you kick a field goal. It was like they went out with a whimper, dude. It was awful. I mean, it was one. It has to be the worst day for a great player. Like in the context of things, like he had to want to escape so bad. It's just gotten so bad for him.
And the best way to get that taste out of their mouth is hitting that shot over the middle at the beginning of the game to Mike Evans.
That's
and
it.
It just didn't happen. That's the easiest way to ignite a fire on the sideline and get people hyped again. But they didn't make it.
I kind of wonder if Brady asked Todd Bowles to kick it down 14-0 on 4th and 7 because he didn't want to get shut out by the Panthers. Has he ever? I mean, when's the last shutout Brady was involved in? You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, you're kind of like, just kick it. Please, just kick it. We need points.
They got Carolina into a 3rd and 3 that ensuing possession, but then Chuba Hubbard went for
crushed
15
it.
yards.
Okay, so Packers commies. First off, I want to say this: Heineke. I don't think he's a world beater or somebody that anybody's going to pay for 5 years. Which you can say it's unfortunate or whatever you want. It just kind of is what it is. But he's a little gamer, dude. He's a gamer, and he's tough. That throw to McLaurin at the end of the game with a face full of Kenny Clark was incredible. And you're going at the best player on the defense in the secondary, and Alexander. You went at him on 2nd and 7 with like 2:40 to go. That route McLaurin ran was disgusting. And then going to him again on 3rd and 11 in crunch time and hitting him. All the big plays they made, he was money. He was money when they needed it. The 37-yarder dropping the bucket there. Samuel was good on third down. Like Heineke, and we'll get to Rodgers, but Heineke was really, really good down the stretch. And he just has pocket poise, dude. You're not going to get that out of Carson.
Dude.
Like, it's just, bro, like, it just lifts the morale up to have a guy that just looks alive back there. And I'm not saying, I like Carson, and that's my dude and everything, but you can see it. It's a totally different game with Heineke in the game.
As an O lineman, if I'm blocking for Carson Wentz, my biggest fear is that I'm never going to block long enough for him to be safe and make the right decision. When you have a guy like Heineke back there, you understand that a 3-step drop could have 5-step timing, but that's it. The ball's either going to be out or he's going to re-situation himself. The coverage changes and he can make a pass. He's got legs.
Or if he extends, he's going to do
pocket
it
presence.
like his eyes are open. You know what I mean?
He's not closing his eyes in the pocket. Like
no, I'm not saying Carson's closing his eyes, but what I'm saying is like
seems like it sometimes.
Carson sometimes just doesn't see the field. Like the calluses of like pressing and like he was once different. He's not that guy.
And you're more on time with Heineke.
Yeah.
It seems like
schedule.
he'd rather turtle at times than chuck it up to Terry McLaurin.
Right, exactly. Turtle, well, I don't like the word turtle because it seems like he's hiding, but, try to break a tackle, like get under somebody. Like, we've seen that a bunch where he braces to try to absorb the hit or fight through the tackle. We'll just take the shot. But anyways, I think it's more like this is about Heineke. Heineke was awesome. He's an absolute dog. And McLaurin, you saw the Jay Sternberger tweet that was like, I can't believe the Packers didn't draft Terry McLaurin because this is the tight end. The author of the tweet is the tight end who was drafted one pick in front of Terry McLaurin.
Wow.
It's a pretty good self-deprecating humor from the couch, I presume, Sunday afternoon. And it's true. I mean, like Rodgers does not have I see it a lot now because I'll go back and watch 15 times to see if he was in the wrong on some of these throws because a lot of them are low or they're behind somebody. And sometimes us fans and defensive linemen or offensive linemen or real estate agents don't like we will look at a throw that looks off target and we're like, this is a bad throw. But sometimes Tom Brady's throwing somebody open or throwing somebody away from the coverage or trying to not kill somebody over the middle and they're putting it on somebody's back hip rather than high and in front of like Byard or something.
Like if you don't hit everybody in stride, a common viewer would say, well, it's not a great throw because it wasn't in the hands.
It's just knowing which throws are supposed to be off and which one. And this sounds silly. It sounds like I'm caping, but I'm not because Aaron Rodgers made bad throws yesterday.
Well, did you see Sammy Watkins leaking out deep on a couple of occasions?
Is deep on
open.
Sammy Watkins is deep on the 4th and 1 that ended up being like a Dobbs. And the guys on Sunday, in the 4th and 1 that ended up being like a Dobbs drop, he has an option to go downfield and it's wide open. So like guys on Sunday night, Dungy and Jason Garrett, that you could tell in production, they were like, we got to give it to Aaron Rodgers tonight. Like, how are we going to do this? And they both were like, did you hear him? They were both like, Jason Garrett went, I wouldn't bet against him, but, and then Tony Dungy finished the segment. He's like, I'm not going to bet against these guys, but it's time to bet. It's time to bet against them. Like they're not playing well, especially the Brady situation, because we just talked about it's not going to get better. I am betting against Brady. I'm betting against Brady. Do not be a fucking baby about this thing, dude. It's okay if he wins a Super Bowl, I will be so happy because I feel bad for him right now. But I am betting against Brady, dude. Brady be the first to tell you.
Did you see the Rodgers post game? Reporter asked, "You think it's plausible that this team could turn it around and make the playoffs?" And Aaron goes, "Goddamn right, I think it is."
Did he?
Yeah.
And I'm not betting against. I'm not betting against Aaron Rodgers
ever
because of this team. Because of this team, Brady's the GOAT.
Because of the pieces they have waiting in the wings.
It just feels like I don't think they're. I'm going to talk outside of both sides of my mouth though here, Kyle. Do you move Aaron Rodgers if you're the Packers? How close are you to being that good? And he might fucking retire at the end of the year. How about getting something for him? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. He gave you a list of teams in the offseason.
Talk
Like
about
the Broncos.
A fun week in the media.
He's like, yeah. Let's get it started.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Hey, so fucking, I don't know. I'm just saying, I think they have a better shot to get it right than the Bucs. But the problem in the first half for them was early downs. Every first down, there was a fucking penalty. I mean, whether it's a hold or a drop, the placement's off. whether he's behind Aaron Jones on 3rd and 13 and the guy has to turn around to catch the football and he picks up 9. Well, maybe he picks up 13 if you put it on his hands in the flat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's little things like that. And yesterday, you know, there's the what are we doing? But he took a turn, bro. He absolutely took a turn. And you could tell Dungy and Garrett wanted to be like, Aaron, you got to make some throws too here.
Yeah.
But they like kind of kid gloved him on Sunday night. And he wasn't that good. Now, sometimes guys are dropping balls where I'm just wondering if they're all scared. They look fucking traumatized sometimes when they drop these balls. They look like they're getting ready to get yelled at by the guy in Whiplash. You know?
Not my tempo.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. He's also an insurance guy. And have you seen Oz?
No.
You got to check out
You're
Oz.
Dr. Oz?
No, Oz. It's a movie about prison. All the insurance
TV show.
guys. That's like Oz is the insurance guy feeder because you get the guy from Allstate, you know, the Mayhem guy. Ryan O'Reilly in Oz, and then you get J.K. Simmons, who's a fucking Nazi in
And what
Oz
about
as well.
what about the president in 24?
Well, he's major
Who's
league. He went
also
through the
Jack
major
Bauer?
league.
Pedro Serrano.
Pedro Serrano.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him. I told him we had. You remember we had a cat named Joe Boo when we were
Go
kids?
boo.
Wow.
I
that's
told
cool.
Pedro Serrano
like,
when I saw him,
cool.
Yeah.
and he was like, "That's fucking
very
weird,
good.
kid."
Dennis
All right.
Haysbert.
Hey, I got
Dennis Haysbert. But so Green Bay 0 of 6 on 3rd down. Ultimately, time possession 37 minutes to 22 minutes. Okay, that's it. The defense is going to get worn out. They're not that good anyways. Their edges are kind of hit and miss, and I mean like setting the edge in the run game. You know, Rashawn Gary's amazing. Preston Smith's a great rusher, but like, who's coming down to set an edge, and why are you peeking inside? You know, like just play the defense, man. You know, and they got worn down.
Sunday night at Buffalo. What's the line?
7.5.
I've got some interesting news for you.
9.5.
6.5.
10.5.
Oh,
The last 3 quarterbacks that defense lost to: Daniel Jones, Taylor Heineke, Zach Wilson, in no order. But that's just, you know, those are the teams that the Green Bay Packers are losing to now.
but do you trade him? Like,
No.
Let's have a fantasy
Who
moment.
are you gonna have? Who are you gonna trade to? What are you gonna trade for? And who do you have?
Oh, Kyle,
Draft capital and
we like Mac Jones. We like
Jordan
Bailey
Love.
Zappi.
I say go get Zappy, bring him to the Bay,
Yeah,
let him go ham.
Uh-huh.
The fans will love him.
you know, Aaron Rodgers could win a Super Bowl and ride off in the sunset and read books about ships.
Oh my God, what a villain!
Okay, now I kind of like it.
What
Yeah.
a villain origin story here.
Yeah, dude. Think about it.
Come to the dark
The one
side,
guy
Aaron.
who would just be like, "Shut the fuck up, Aaron." You know?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
What are we doing?
Can you
here?
imagine?
What are we doing here?
Fucking Pat McAfee jacking off with Pat McAfee every Monday. Let's keep it in house. That would be amazing.
I would. Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, if you're the Packers, you're not winning the Super Bowl this year, bro.
No.
You like what we're really talking about is a team that could get better and make the playoffs and fuck it. But with all the talent they've had, they haven't won a Super Bowl.
And they could get ahead of the ventilation process of removing the Aaron Rodgers-ness from that locker room.
What's the first thing you think about when you hear ventilation? Balls, right?
Nah. Okay. Also
Okay, sorry, that was an immature thought. All right, let's go to the next thing.
balls, right?
I'm just excited about trading Aaron Rodgers. How asinine that sounds, but how fun it is to talk about.
I'm with it.
Some things you just have to talk about. Let's just talk about it.
Get it out on the table.
I'm not saying I would do it, but I would do it because I know there's 1 or 2 teams right now that think they're good enough to win a Super Bowl. But maybe you got Mac Jones as your quarterback or Bailey Zappi. No shade, but they're not Aaron Rodgers. He can get that ball placement right. I don't know if they can get everything else right around him. Guys don't get any fucking separation. When they do, he doesn't trust them.
Rodgers for Brady. Who says no?
What are we
Can you imagine
Who
how
says no?
me,
Everybody.
everybody,
Okay. All right.
because I don't want to deal with that. If I'm Todd Bowles, I'm okay with my guy going to fucking to Boston for a party on Friday night, but to go to an ayahuasca den, like that's a whole can of worms. Todd Bowles, can you imagine Todd Bowles and Aaron Rodgers having a conversation?
Jeez.
By the way, Todd Bowles' run defense isn't very good, and that's kind of been what they've hung their hat on. So
29 and 45 is Todd Bowles' record as a head coach.
I know. But I'm not saying it's him down there. The team's not good.
I'm going to put a little on Todd Bowles.
They could miss Bruce Arians, though. That's another thing. Bruce Arians is a guy that's like, no, Tom.
Right. And then Tom
And
was
then Tom's
like, no,
Bruce. Like, I want to do this all by myself.
Yeah.
But Bruce Arians is like, if I didn't have a producer in here or like y'all here, the show would just be fucking ridiculous, right? You guys have to steer, reel me in sometimes. Tom Brady lost all his producers. You know what I mean? Bruce Arians is upstairs fucking, I don't know what he's doing up there. What's Bruce Arians doing up there? He should be down there like, Tom,
Collecting some
throw the
sort of
fucking ball deep.
check.
Well, he did. Mike Evans dropped it. Mike Evans got an autograph signed by the did you see this?
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel, the referees came up and asked him, I just probably got a referee fired.
Oh, he's already
I
fired.
guess I'm,
he was
I'm
fired
in
at
America's team.
Before, during, or after the game?
After the game.
After the game in the tunnel. Like when they're walking through the tunnel,
Autograph.
Mike Evans is walking up, and clearly you can see the guy looking at him, like asking him to,
Yeah, you got to take about 20 steps more into the tunnel.
right?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike,
Still unacceptable.
mind if you
but-
sign this piece of paper? I want to tell my kids I met the guy who had the worst drop of all time. Like, can you imagine?
Literally nobody in the world would know that you're the referee if you go put a T-shirt and mesh shorts on and come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
out and be
yeah.
like,
Oh,
Mike.
I got a better
Yeah.
idea. Hit up the fucking guy at football operations there.
Yeah.
Hey, my son needs a.
On a
but maybe
Tuesday.
maybe we saw it wrong. Maybe he was like signing some sort of like.
Maybe Mike dropped his
Release.
birth certificate out there, and the guy got it. He's giving it to him.
Who's signing a Sports Center not top 10 release? I heard a clown noise, dude. All right. So, anyways, Dallas, Detroit.
Damn it, Detroit.
Cowboys fans were ready to bench Dak after the first quarter on Twitter. They wanted
Whoa.
Cooper Rush ASAP.
Cowboys fans on Twitter.
They're amazing.
Well, I mean, it's just like,
The best.
well, yeah, they're fun, but like they didn't have a first down for 3 possessions. Dak ended up looking pretty good. And you knew that I should have bet this under. Should have bet this under. Because you knew,
No DeAndre Swift.
yeah, you knew, which was a big deal for Detroit. You knew Dallas's defense was still going to be in war mode, like they're ready to overcompensate for an offense that's got a backup. But now you've got your guy back, and it's going to be like a little bit of a struggle getting going. When you look at the numbers, their YPA, yards per attempt, was best all year. And he was really good inside of 10 yards. I don't think he missed inside of 10 yards. And play action was real good. So I thought, all in all, pretty encouraging day for Dak not to come out there looking like ass, avoiding the big turnovers. But the play of the game to me was Micah Parsons running down the ball carrier by the pylon. He runs by 1, 2, 3, 4 of his teammates. 4 of his teammates. And we just have Michael Irvin. Ball game's 10-6 right here. So if Detroit goes in to score,
Cover City.
it's cover city. It's you're in trouble a little bit because that changes the way you're thinking in that game. But anyways, at this point in the game, they needed to stop. And Micah Parsons, the best player on the team, giving the best effort on the team, running by more than half of the defense to make this play at the pylon. The very next play, DeMarcus Lawrence, who makes an incredible play, fumble, Jamal Williams, first fumble in his career. So when you look at Detroit, it's even the guys that are making mistakes. It's not like, what do you say? It's tough. They're finding ways to lose these games, but Dallas finding ways to win games. They're growing up right before our eyes. And I was wrong about the Cowboys, man. I'd like to issue an apology. You did to Thibodeau last week. Like to issue an apology to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are fucking good, and they got Dak back. I thought they'd be out of it by the time Dak came back. And I think the Cowboys organization deserves a lot of credit because they built a team that could withstand the loss of Dak. They played great defense. Not only did they get the Dak rehab right, but they brought him back at the right time. Dak picked this game. This is the perfect game for them to bring him back. And it's worked to perfection for them.
And they found an identity when he was gone. I know Cooper Rush gets a lot of credit, but you have to give credit to that offensive line.
Yep.
I mean, it starts on the right side. Their backs have actually more yards when going to the left side than the right side, which is funny. But it strengthens my point of the backside is the front side in the run game, particularly in these patience runs without pullers where you're not having a predetermined hole.
Yep.
They read A gap, B gap, C gap, and Pollard and Zeke do a great job of it. Zeke is looking like himself. I love to see that.
Yeah.
It makes me feel younger when Zeke is looking young out there.
Who's the guy that got the fastest on you in the NFL?
Me.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's a great question and an answer.
Would I be able to give my?
Who
Hey,
got
bless
all this?
me.
That's a great question.
I just quitted Williams myself.
Bless you. Thank you.
That's funny because Will Blackman, shout out. It was funny as hell. Somebody did one of these tweets like, "Who's a player you'd want to see finish their career without injuries? Like a biggest what if?" And he was like, "Me." And it's the truth. Like every NFL player, like if we could get rid of our injuries, but Dak did get Zeke did get up there in years pretty quick. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
He had a good time, I think.
Yeah. But no, they're a good team. Not only everybody getting them to this point where Dak comes back, but the first 3 possessions of that game, keeping that offense down. Aaron Glenn took a turn doing the right thing, right? Keeping the points down yesterday for Detroit, but they can't put it together on both sides of the ball. And it's unfortunate. 4 turnovers. I'm starting to really feel like the Heat's going to be the dial, the heated seats.
Where's he going to be coordinating next year?
Dan Campbell?
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's not. I mean, he's done special teams, but
tight ends coach.
No, he's not. I'm not burying Dan Campbell.
I love Dan Campbell.
But teams should avoid going on Hard Knocks. Is all I'm saying, because it just creates an unhealthy amount of expectation from people. You know what I mean? Like Joe Fan, if they weren't on Hard Knocks this year, I don't think this is as big a story. But
yeah,
it's the way it goes.
Hey, these week 1 results, they all look fairly legitimate. The one most out of whack, I know Dak went down, but it might be Bucks 19, Cowboys 3.
Yeah.
Usually there's some wacky results from week 1, but they all people.
And at that point, the Bucks look like what we thought the Bucks would look like. A functioning Bucks team in 2022 was winning low-scoring ball games. They're running the football. They're playing defense, and that was what they looked like. We went. By the way, Sam Williams, fucking looks awesome, dude. He looked great getting skinny on the edge. He slammed the fuck out of somebody. And then after the game, they asked him what he thought about slamming that guy, and he was like, I didn't know that was a rule that you couldn't slam anybody, so I wasn't really waiting for a flag, because in college, I used to do it all the time. I love that. I just love that. So, Kyle, what do you think? Kansas City, San Francisco.
It was nice to see the deep passes actually work to, Valdez-Scantling, and then you see the run game, even at the end with Pacheco able to run the ball. It looks so funny to see that little guy wearing number 10. It looks like a young Tyreek Hill, because he's got kind of the hair coming out the back, which Tyreek didn't have at the end. 5 touchdowns. Mecole Hardman stepping up big. When I was there, he didn't have the opportunity to really be highlighted in the pass game as much. He's a lot of jet sweeps. He's a lot of quick hitting action screens, but Patrick's relying on him in the pass game. As reliance on him in the pass game has been fun to watch. A great protection plan for Nick Bosa until the end. Nick Bosa got home at the end, but I give Andrew Wiley credit. It was a good set. He got to relative depth on the quarterback.
Some people are aliens.
But Nick Bosa is just a freak, and they're going to watch that in film, and, Andy Heck will say, hey, that guy's a stud. You know what I mean?
I was watching that exact play, and I was like, this is what makes Nick Bosa so great. He's so strong at the top of the rush. Some guys aren't. I can tell you, it's hard. You get washed by, you get pushed by.
And it was a good set by Andrew Wiley.
Yeah, he knows how to put his inside foot underneath his outside foot, if that makes sense, and lean. And he does not lose his feet. Basically, imagine if you're a rusher, it's kicking your feet outside of you and being able to still stand up.
To bend, like gravity doesn't exist.
Yeah, and not slip. You get all your cleats in the ground and you're strong. Because he's not winning these rushes with just speed. He's winning them with power and leverage and a rip.
I got to give credit to Andy Reid and this offense. I mean, over 520 yards against the number 1 ranked defense in a game where the offense of the Niners was the big thing that was talked about. And Christian McCaffrey looked good. He was featured lightly. He was salt and peppered in there.
Yeah.
And he's a clear mismatch everywhere on the field. I can't wait to see what else Shanahan does with him, as I'm sure you can't either.
I can't wait, because I had the Niners going far.
But if that's the best that other than the Eagles, if that's the best that the Chiefs are going to see in the NFC, that's obviously not the full finished product of the Niners. But
the Vikings are really good. That's Macon's Super Bowl team, and they've quietly been
primetime cousins.
Good. And the Niners were my Super Bowl preseason pick. Do I still think it's possible? Absolutely. That team. I want to make a case for this week being, and I should have known, but yesterday I was a fucking degenerate and I wasn't seeing things. I'll be better. Okay. The Niners were distracted this week. I really believe that. There was a lot going on there. Friday night you get a text we got Christian McCaffrey. Drake London's like, we got a white boy. Like, everybody had that moment Friday night where they were excited about Christian McCaffrey, right? Not Drake London, Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson's all excited in the kitchen. Everybody had that moment.
Jeff Wilson probably not pumped.
Jeff Wilson not pumped.
Eli Mitchell not pumped.
Not pumped.
playing.
You come in Saturday, everybody else kind of pumped. Walkthrough's buzzing, right? Like new guys
Did you
there.
see the Trent Williams interview?
Trent Williams is back. Nick Bosa's back. There's a lot of people that are back, and you think it's a positive, but it's not a spin zone. You know how this is in pro football. Like there's just a lot going on that team, and they're playing a fucking really good team. And the bottom line is if Jimmy G doesn't throw that pick before the half, because 2 weeks in a row they had big turnovers before the half. Last week it resulted in points immediately against the Falcons, fumble for a touchdown. They don't play well from behind. Same thing with Jimmy. Like you have a chance to put this game not away, but you had a double-digit lead early in this game, and they look like I don't know, insert the most efficient offense ever, their first drive. And it just throwing that pick in the end zone is a backbreaker. And it's not something that like Patrick Mahomes throws picks, right? He threw one early in the game. So I'm not saying Jimmy G throwing that pick is the reason he's
like
asked,
off the rip.
But where's the top end wow stuff? And that's the
and it always builds up to a crescendo with Pat and the Chiefs, right? Like you talked about them being down early and looking inept against an extremely efficient offense for the Niners.
Yep.
But that's the difference between having a guy like Andy Reid and having any other coach. And Shanahan possesses the same type traits, but he's got the experience. He's got all the juice. He's got all those offensive players. The rush was getting home yesterday. Frank Clark, you and I talked about Frank Clark.
Yeah, Frank Clark had a great game, and McGlinchey.
Chris Jones needs help, and he's getting it.
Yeah, Chris Jones is just too big to move that fast. It's incredible. I mean, the fucking guy. He's like a SUV out there.
Doesn't get enough credit for how large and physically gifted he is.
I think everybody should have to go down on the football field and stand and let Chris Jones walk by them. I know that we can't make that happen, but that would be a great thing for everybody to do before you watch Chris Jones play football on TV. Because when I went to see the Chiefs and the Eagles last year, I was on the sideline, and that motherfucker ran out the tunnel. I was like, oh, he's big, dude. And the way he can get on the edge and double hand swipe a tackle.
Oh.
He can get vertical, in a 3 technique. He's incredible.
The thing, he's a finesse rusher. You were talking about the edges he attacks.
Yeah.
He's not going to just bull you all the time.
Nope.
Like he sets up bull because he beats you with speed throughout the game.
And I want to add this real quick before we move on, because I don't think this is indicative of the Niners, but this is impressive by the Chiefs. This is a statement win. The Niners dropped a lot of coverages yesterday. Like they were not themselves defensively. I think this is this is as bad as it could be for them. This 2-game skid. I could be wrong. I think they're going to be back, and I think that they're not going to win the NFC. They're not going to have home field advantage. What they're doing is they're playing. This team's playing to be ready for the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you lose your quarterback the first week, and it's probably a good thing. You add a big piece this week. You have some guys injured. You lose Trent Williams for a stretch. Now we can start, like the season starts for us, but it's got to start right now, right? Let me ask you this question. The season ends today. MVP, Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
I agree.
Jalen Hurts.
No, I agree. It's Patrick Mahomes.
If we're picking an NFC and an AFC, those would be the two.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. Listen, Jalen Hurts is going to be in the running, and he could win the whole thing. But, like, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are 2 best quarterbacks in the league. Pat,
and it's not close.
With everything that Patrick Mahomes had to deal with from a changes standpoint, and Bieniemy and Reed this year, like it is incredible. They have more explosives this year than they did last year.
And being the face of the league.
Bro, they averaged 9 yards per play yesterday against the San Francisco 49ers. So, like, sometimes you don't have to overthink it. If he keeps this up, and their offense has been a little hot and cold, but if you get this a lot, he's the MVP in my opinion. I'm not throwing shade. I wasn't even thinking about Jalen.
And it goes down to because they have such a great. People say they're the most complete team.
I think Josh is the favorite.
Pat is second in odds, and Jalen is third in
but
odds.
A lot of people listening to this podcast are pissed at me about not going to the Phillies game, and they're probably mad because I'm saying what I'm saying right now. But my job is not to be a fucking liar. And Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable player to his team.
Adding value.
He is the most valuable player to his team.
It's like the Trout Judge argument.
And listen, get in line, Philly fans.
Or Shohei.
Get in line, Eagles fans, because Josh Allen should be pissed first, and then Jalen. Okay, like, and what we're cutting hairs here. These guys are all amazing, but Josh Allen is fucking incredible. He also has Stephon Diggs. He is their run game in some ways, so maybe I'm talking my way into Josh Allen, but Patrick Mahomes can definitely make a case at this point for being the MVP. In the
Those
league.
two are the MVPs for the AFC, no doubt about it.
Dual MVPs.
Yeah.
Dual threat MVPs. Okay. All right. Indy, Tennessee, what'd you see, Kyle?
I saw a lot of field goals. I saw a lot of field goals. I saw a lot of Matt Ryan not looking the part in terms of mobility. The same stuff we talked about with Carson Wentz. When he was panicking, instead of going into that brace position, Matt Ryan just chucks it to wherever. And David Long had another interception yesterday. I'm falling in love. Every time I watch the Titans, I fall more in love with them as a team. And I see them as a team that I would have liked to have played for if I was healthy and young and spry. Derrick Henry is an absolute truck. He had like 100.
Like
he had like 130 yards, 30 carries. You see the O-line finishing, pushing the pile for first downs. And a lot of those yards came in the 4-minute mode at the end of the game. But the moral of the story is Matt Ryan and this offense are not good enough to put themselves behind the chains with penalties. You saw the first interception here, and I have it pulled up, Chris. This is Bud Dupree's impact was massive in the game. And he doesn't get a sack here, but there's an interception.
Helps when you start in the neutral zone.
So what I want to talk about is the protection here and the awareness. And this is Adams, I believe, Andrew Adams at the squat safety position here, who gets the pick. But running back to the beginning and pause it, and I'll just say this is a full term protection. The left tackle's got to go down. There's 6 guys rushing. We have 5 guys. We know there's going to be 1 free hitter. And the offensive line and Matt Ryan both know that Bud Dupree is going to be the guy that's hot. We're hot off of Bud Dupree. So the ball's supposed to be out. If I'm the receiver, Paris Campbell in the slot, I have to also know that.
Yeah, to be fair, his back's turned, and I don't know if Paris Campbell's
No,
wrong.
but watch pre-snap. Everybody's eyes are inside, including
Right.
Paris Campbell's. Now, I'm not saying that he's supposed to know this right now, but Matt Ryan, somebody's got to communicate that we're going Terry, which means gap protection to the right, and the ball's hot off the defensive end, Bud
basic
Dupree.
shit.
This is pretty basic shit for an O-lineman. Now, I'm not in the receiver rooms, but I'm sure that in the team meeting, they're going to say, hey, there was a pick 6 because we didn't have situational awareness. And Paris Campbell played a really good game. He had a lot of great catches. He had a touchdown later on. But plays like this are what separate the Titans, who this safety, and Andrew Adams is sitting here, squatting behind it, makes a great play, gets out of there, pick 6. That's 6 points, a swing of momentum because of a situational awareness, a little thing like having your eyes around for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan delivered the ball on time, didn't take a hit, didn't take a sack, and it's a pick 6. Stuff like this bit him in the butt all day. Nyheim Hines, I like him a lot on the Colts. He was featured and dynamic for them, but they couldn't score touchdowns. They scored 1. Same thing goes for the Titans. A lot of field goals. Bullock, he actually gets
It's a rock fight.
He actually gets my game ball in general, and I wrote down some quick notes here because I don't want to mess this up. Randy Bullock, 45 plus in a row inside 35 yards.
Yeah.
Over 200 field goals made. He surpassed that mark against the Colts. He was 4-4. They kept the Colts at bay. Pretty much a dominant. You know what's going to come. It's going to be Derrick Henry and heavy doses of it for the Titans. It was fun to watch. I watched it in here this morning, and I was just chuckling to myself like, you know what's coming, and you can't stop it. He's like he's just got a better motor than everybody.
Well,
he's
he's
a bigger
also got
truck.
a motor that they're actually breaking in and like continue to drive. Like Jonathan Taylor, 10 touches.
Yeah, not enough there.
Like,
and they spread the rock around too much.
Take a hint from the guy on the other side of the field. Like you know.
And Dennis Kelly, bless his heart, he's out there battling. But Bud Dupree, man, I've got some stats
He's a
here
beast,
I wrote down
dude.
for Bud Dupree because I wanted to shout that out as well. Here
Randy
it is.
Bullock's 5'9", 210.
Damn, he's stocky.
Yeah.
He's a stocky boy.
Bud Dupree, 8 quarterback pressures, 6 hits, a sack, and 28% pass rush win rate.
Bro, Bud Dupree's one of the most underrated rushers in the league. He just does his job. He just disrupts things. He just fucking, Pittsburgh missed him when he left. Like, he's added a lot to Tennessee. So shout out to Bud Dupree. We love Bud.
He bull rushed. He bull rushed Dennis Kelly. He bull rushed Dennis Kelly bad one time, and Jeffrey Simmons got home because Ryan had to step up. They do a great job of having that cooperative rush. What do you guys call it? coordinated rush.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm going inside to flush him to here because I know you're going to be
You
there.
know, we
rush
often
together.
call that a game. You know.
a game.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a game.
It's not a game.
Yeah, it's not really a game.
Not a game.
We'll call it like a rush together. We'll call it like a stunt.
But that was good. Stunts and games are the
Well,
same thing,
yes,
pretty
Right,
much.
right.
Well,
Technically,
there's also
Stunts mean crossing face
There's
or
also
going
some feel. You're talking about some of the feel things.
you're talking
feel.
about some of the feel things.
contain
really.
rushes.
talking about rushing together.
Yeah,
Complimentary rushing. That's
Rushing
what I'm
together.
saying.
Rushing
a
together.
game.
I
a
like that
stunt.
Titans team a lot, and you know they are who they are, man.
Hey, I got good news for you.
Yeah.
Your turn, big boy.
Oh.
Talk about your Giants.
Oh,
Good, we like that?
how-
Okay.
how much time we got?
We got 20 minutes.
Vegas didn't know.
Yeah. Scotty didn't know.
I mean, we all saw Jacksonville -3 and thought they would run away, and maybe they are you can no longer call them the better team. The Giants are good, but Jacksonville looked quite a bit more explosive at various points.
Yeah.
ETN is getting his legs under him. He had the big fumble at the end of the first half, but Daniel Jones, first Giant quarterback ever, I think, to throw for 200 and run for 100. He seems to be that guy
New Daniel Jones
Slash.
is what I call him.
because you're not going to go out and pay a free agent. You don't have any money. So you're not
Right.
going to go out and pay a theoretical Lamar Jackson or Jimmy G or any of these guys who are coming up. And the end of the first round is actually kind of interesting this coming year. Could be like an Anthony Richardson,
Right.
a KJ Jefferson from Arkansas,
Anthony Richardson, you basically have the same player.
Hendon Hooker. And that's what I'm saying. DJ, Dan Dimes, he's the guy. So
He's Anthony Richardson who trips.
but taller.
and throws a beautiful ball.
He does. He's thrown where they live. He's doing a great job, man.
Okay, short passing game, but they started to take shots deep too. Darius
Yeah.
Slayton had
Yep,
the
Slayton
big
ball was
TD.
beautiful.
telling you, bro, Mike Kafka effect.
But the Slayton ball was beautiful because of a run that extended that drive
Yep.
for him. Like
Yep.
he helps himself. He was their leading rusher for a while, I feel like.
Yep. Wandale Robinson, a little. I mean, I'm not saying he's Tyreek Hill, but a corollary there
Get
for
him the
Mike
ball.
Kafka. I mean, he's built.
You can show film and say, do this.
No, that jet sweep they ran yesterday was beautiful. It was
Tyreek's
like more of that.
5'10", 185. They're talking about him Sunday night being low key thick. Wandale's 5'8", 185.
Two C's.
Is he as thick?
With he's a yak. He's a yak monster.
He's a yak
Yak with
king.
2 C's.
Yeah.
Yak with 3 C's.
Yeah.
He's a thick yak.
Yak
Yeah,
monster.
yeah. And then Bellinger and Myrick, these guys are just reliable for DJ. The defense dissects things very quickly, it seems. Your boy Thibodeau had another solid one. Halftime, it's 13-11 New York, in part because of that ETN fumble. A couple ridiculous roughing calls going both ways. It's Jags 17, Giants 13 with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
You thought that one was ridiculous, even as a homer.
Well, yeah.
You thought it was a bad
The
one.
that
I didn't see
negated
the
pick.
replay. Yeah, negated the pick.
I mean, it was up in his face a little bit, but
the guy can't. You can't leave your feet to tap a quarterback. You gotta. If you're gonna tap, you gotta just tap him in the
there's
chest.
got to be, and maybe it is even in the rule, but there's got to be some sort of force that goes
Yeah.
along
Well,
with
here's
it.
what we need to do. We need to put sensors on helmets. You know how we were talking about, what were we talking about recently? Like car accidents, putting, they're putting iPhones.
Airbags.
They're putting iPhones. iPhones have a drop thing, right? Or what is it, Matt?
It's like a feature where if you've been in a car accident, the iPhone
Yeah.
will alert because it feels like
Right.
the vibration or crash
Right.
or whatever.
And sometimes
Watch out, high schoolers.
put an iPhone in Daniel Jones's helmet and these other motherfuckers, and if they don't get hit hard enough, we don't call the
actually
the
a-
foul.
Watch out,
good
high
idea.
schoolers in the back seat. Back.
Yeah. New Daniel Jones.
know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean.
Okay, Jags
Sex.
17, Giants 13. It's a fourth and a short one. Doug eschews the 38-yarder. It could go up 20-13.
That's not a good call.
Not a great call. Lawrence
good
gets
call.
stuffed.
Not a good call. I don't mind the calls. The direct snap on 3rd and 1, I liked
Right.
it. Fourth down, Lawrence gets stuffed. And by the way, Thibodeau was pretty good on that sneak. Little
Yep.
things like he's not game breaking, but another one,
Yeah.
the fucking 2017, I think the second to last drive. Trevor Lawrence has a chunk at the 50 that it might still be running. I think it was Zay Jones was wide open. And Thibodeau, if he doesn't pressure him, that ball's coming out. and that ball's going right to Zay or whoever it was at the 50, and they're driving on the plus side of the field and probably going to at least tie that ball game.
Yep.
So he had a couple little plays that,
That
were
impact
big plays.
is like priceless.
Yep.
But we talked about margins of victory and one defeat. I mean, the Giants get a lead, they can not quite put it on ice, but with Saquon picking up first downs, and then you think you got your eyes on 26, and then Daniel Jones pops it around the corner and gets a first down on you. So it's just that they're a hard team to beat. Gano makes the field goal to make it 23-17, and the Jags drive in part thanks to a few defensive fouls, and then I think it's Kirk at the goal line who gets tackled with no time.
Did you see Daniel Jones in the red zone? And this is part of being new Daniel Jones. It was third down. He's flush left. And the old Daniel Jones would have probably thrown a pick or something or held it too long and fumbled. Instead, he hits the FAMU band.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did see that.
I'm like, he just drills a guy in the FAMU band. They're like, how was the game in Jacksonville? I got hit by a ball.
My guys in the booth didn't make mention of the Rattler marching band.
You got to shout out the Rattler marching band, dude.
I did in my living room. That's for sure. Giants 6-1.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a path here. Y'all are talking about playoffs. How about 12-5? All right.
That'd be awesome.
How about
wouldn't
12-5?
it?
Wow.
All right.
That'd be awesome. You got that thing mapped out.
I don't know if he's got enough cigars. He's smoking them after fucking.
Okay, best of the rest. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to be careful. You can't do that every.
That was my immediate thought. Was like, why?
Giants at Seahawks next, barn burner, and then home Texans, home Lions.
Let's do your one word thing, Make. You got a good idea.
Well, sure. Thank you for saying that. Kyle brought it to us by saying, "Hey, I wrote down one word for this game last week, and it was youth."
Yeah.
And so let's get into some of these games by using one word. Let's start Jets, Broncos. I wrote down sad. And I wrote down sad in large part because this Jets team is fun, and Breece Hall goes down with probably a season ender, and Corey Davis leaves, Elijah Vera Tucker leaves. It's like, man, I like these guys a lot. Also sad that rooting for Brett Rippon felt a lot like rooting for Drew Lock last year. It's just not going to happen for you late. Sorry, Cowboy.
Reed, do you have a word for that game?
You want to co-sign sad?
Interference. Everyone was talking about Sauce Gardner blanketing Courtland Sutton.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that when you're pulling the guy down for a touchdown.
More like
you're pulling
stuck
back.
in the sauce.
Yeah.
Not lost in the sauce.
Right.
Iron Eagle.
That's right. We that should have been a touchdown to Courtland, but that's all right.
More like court date Sutton. I want to sue for pass interference. I want to sue for DPI.
And not give the hype train any more sauce.
So
we don't need the sauce.
Breece Hall is what makes us sad. I mean, that run, we talked about it here. He changes speeds. Like, you know how some cars are like automatics? Obviously, Kyle, you're the car guy. Some cars are manual.
I know about
right?
that.
And all the guys that are Tokyo drifting that have the high performance cars, you got to go manual. And he feels like he can change from first to second to third to fourth gear. Watch that run. He runs between like 5 and 10 yards. There's one speed, and then it's just like zoom, like whatever the fucking highest gear is. Eighth gear.
Depends on vehicle.
You got a word?
Yeah, I got a word for the New York Jets and the Denver game. Waste. Waste of a good defense for Denver. Waste of a great talent, to your point, Breece Hall. Waste of AVT. All this stuff is the same. Just a waste.
My word, curious, because I'm curious when we're going to start talking about Zach Wilson. I mean, he's been in here a couple weeks now, but look at that passing chart, dude. And I know the Broncos defense is pretty good and everything, but, you know, at some point, you get this exciting young team. Everybody's buying into it. How long can we hide the fact that Zach Wilson's not playing that great?
Well, now that Breece is out, it's like the clock's ticking on that little C4 packet.
It's unfortunate because you had the Mekhi Becton injury. You got the Breece injury. Like, you haven't had, not that Mekhi was off the start that Breece is, but, like, these are great, possibly good picks. And Joe...
These are big, good players that are big investments with your team.
Yep.
Bengals 35, Falcons 17. My word's form, as in return to form. Burrow Chase. I look like into last year.
I got one, bullying.
Yep.
Because Joe Burrow will bully the fuck out of a
481 yards
out of a down unit.
Outclassed.
Because they were down guys, you know. And yeah, they look better, but I want to see
like
it
an
against a good
exhibition game.
defense. Yeah.
Seahawks and the Chargers played. I'm enjoying giving final scores here.
Yeah, go ahead.
And just the mouse wasn't quite.
Yeah.
It was a mouse issue. Seahawks 37, Chargers 23.
Comfy. I'm saying comfy because Geno Smith Geno Smith is like the new gal that maybe not as hot, like you were with a dime, right? And she's like a smoke show, but she doesn't comfort you. She's not like, she doesn't sit on the couch with you in a hoodie and watch a movie. You know what I mean? And Geno Smith will do all those little things that make you feel comfortable. She'll compliment you. She'll give you a hug and things like that. You know, she's not Russell Wilson, but she can unlock the middle of the field. You know, it doesn't always have to be sexy. And Pete Carroll all these years thought he had this great asset, and he did. He's a Hall of Famer. But like Dag Nabbit, Geno's not too fucking bad. It's kind of comfy. It feels good.
Instead of saying have a great day, Geno will say make it a great day.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Exactly.
I got a little pep in my step.
Yeah.
now. Yeah. One word.
I wrote down 2 words: STL Memorial,
But that is true.
because that's the theme.
Yeah.
Here, and it's a bunch of guys in Seattle that are stepping up, like Geno, and the countless other guys that aren't named Geno Smith on that team who have contributed to these wins. One in particular is the winner of my STL Memorial Award, Austin Blythe, center for the Seahawks. He was with me in Kansas City, brought in to be the starter, ended up getting beat out by Creed Humphrey, who is, you know, a young phenom in this league. But Blythe now a starter again in Seattle and the leader of that group. He was mic'd up last week. It's worth a watch. Tough dude, great guy, and he's balling in obscurity right now.
Geno will have a pot pie ready for you when you get home. You know what I mean? Geno will have, you know,
I like that.
some hot soup. You know, when it gets
Like
cold. Basically, Geno's a cold weather gal.
My word is Kenneth. He went for 168. You don't see many Kenneths these days. Baltimore 23, Cleveland 20. My word's cover.
Kenny.
Really happy.
Yeah, I
with
don't
that
really have a
cover.
word here because I didn't watch the game.
Really happy with that cover. Plus
This is the
6.5.
Baltimore game?
Yeah.
Oh, mine is flags.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's I can figure out what happened in that game. A lot of flags.
Flags.
Vegas 38, Houston something. My word was nah because I didn't watch it, in part because of the Sunday ticket issue.
Yeah.
I just stood down and get knocked off
Oh, I
like 3
bet
times.
it.
I'm just like,
I forgot to tell you, I bet the second half Davis Mills. I got on that train, bro. Yeah. And I don't know. Turning point is, I'm going to put a hyphen in between those 2 words.
okay.
Which is not a thing, but it could be a turning point for the Raiders. We've said, like, look at their next few games. They're a good football team. They played bad. This could be one of those games you're like, remember we were at Houston, we were down at the half to those motherfuckers, and we scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. And Josh Jacobs, who's going to hit the market next year, is stacking the numbers, man, the last couple of weeks. So they're finding their identity. They're running the football, and my poor Texans, they have found as many ways to lose as the Lions.
Yeah. Might be on the do not wager upon list.
Probably.
Here, moving forward.
They're probably going to enter.
My one word is Jacobs, but I'm gonna make it bridge because, to your point,
Jacobs.
they're bridging a shitty start with a good finish
Yeah.
right now. They're
Yeah.
finding their identity.
They played him.
Josh and DC are seemingly more comfortable.
This was a good tweet. Don't remember who tweeted it. Josh Jacobs, they ran out in the Hall of Fame game because he was going to be buried on the depth chart. And here he is
That's crazy.
balling out. Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him.
I like that guy.
He's like, I'm gonna make him pay.
That's one word.
So that was good. That was good. Hey,
Might go to 2 words next week. Spice it up
hey,
a
we've
little
got
bit.
7 minutes before I hop on the Rich Eisen show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rich Eisen. We got to plug Rich Eisen. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Rich Eisen or his
Michigan,
show.
Shout out to
Blue.
Rich Eisen.
Feels so stupid when you plug somebody's show that's much more successful than you because it feels like we think we're on that level. But go listen to his show. I'm on there every Monday. Okay, let's do mentions.
Miller Lite mentions.
Miller Lite mentions. Had a few of those this weekend.
Hey, can I just give you my Hollow Man and get out of the
17.
way for you guys?
Huh?
I'm going to give you my Hollow Man
Yeah.
and then get out of the way.
Okay.
All right? Me, all right? 7 p.m. Thursday night. Hollow Man. Bath time, they're bubbles, boats. We play with the letters that you stick on the bathtub. She likes an octopus. There's a little basketball hoop. All right, rewind. Throughout the day, I'm checking the fantasy lineups to see if the Lizard Kings are going to insert Chris Olave or
This
not.
was great.
To see if they're going to insert Chris Olave, who's going to go for the Saints against the Cardinals. all day. No, he's not in there. No, he's not in there. No, he's not in there. Fast forward, bath time. Commissioner Tom from the top rope texts the group, don't forget to set your lineups.
He's a nice commissioner.
Who does that? There's a 60-year-old person in this league. Don't forget to set your lineups.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Part of being in a fantasy football league
Competition.
is being grown up enough to set your lineup without a reminder.
You've reminded me, to be fair.
But that's when I'm being a jackass and trying to help myself
Yeah, exactly.
beat somebody else.
Yeah, he's being like...
If he did this every single week, that's one thing. Still bad, not great, but okay. But he does it just when it benefits him, which if it's private, it's one thing. I don't know about it.
That's a heavy accusation.
All right. So, epic code break by Commissioner
Wait,
Tom.
did you just say I only do it when it benefits me?
Yeah, but privately. Now you say, well, the Lizard Kings beat the Houses by 90. Olave's 18 worth of difference. No, not true. Momentum is a real thing. My guys go into Sunday down 18. That's bad vibes. Now DK's out. House is down bad. Add insult to injury. Lizard Kings, fuckers, text the group chat a link to burning down the house. So not only do they get an assist from Dad, they're talking smack in the group chat. You didn't do it, guy. The restraint I showed, not saying player, you don't know how to open the app and set your own lineup without Dad sending out a text message before the game start, should earn me an award.
Could be worse.
Get bent, Tom. Get bent, Lizard Kings. I'm Hollow Man.
Could be worse. You could have not set your lineup at all. Okay.
Is that you?
That's me.
Okay.
Okay, we're 2
No,
and
that would have
4.
been great.
You know, like New York.
Still in it.
New York literally broke me, man. I sat Damian Pierce, George Pickens. I sat Jonathan Taylor. Couldn't even be bothered. So yeah, that sucks. And the way you lost by 1 point.
I addressed that.
You addressed that.
Yes.
Yeah, I just...
Best plane ride, Kansas City. Worst plane ride, I'll go Tampa Bay.
Okay,
Wow.
best. Go ahead, Kyle. You got your best and worst.
Best plane ride, Kansas City.
Yeah.
Worst pirate ship ride, because there's going to be a lot of people that need to walk the plank.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Firing.
Tampa Bay.
If we're getting fired.
Tom Brady just out there pointing to a wooden fucking plank off the side of his pirate ship.
Tom,
that
you
they
don't
stole
open the
from Raymond
exit. You don't
James.
open the exit while we're in the air. He's just throwing Mike Evans out of the plane. That's what I thought they're going to do. That's what I thought Tomlin was going to do the Pittsburgh receivers last year after the Minnesota game. Okay. Best plane ride, worst plane ride. Oh, fuck me.
Viewing party.
The Giants have the best plane ride.
Yeah.
You know, it's Florida. It's a 1 p.m. You're back by, I don't know, 6 o'clock,
Easy.
7 o'clock. You got to load the shit.
Yeah.
To go out in the greatest city in the world.
East Rutherford.
Yeah. Worst plane ride. It's going to be hard to disagree with you, but I'll take the other side of this thing and take
Pirate ship?
the Packers.
Okay.
So, and I was thinking maybe it's a viewing party or fly on the wall, but like when Aaron got back and saw how bad Tom did, and Tom got back and saw how bad Aaron did,
That's fun.
a pretty interesting thought.
I'd like to watch that Dolphins game in the 72 team suite.
Yeah.
Just probably a lot of huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking good. Hearing jokes.
Farts.
Mercury Morris.
Yeah.
Well, huh?
Oh, yeah. Fuck them.
Hey, all those guys. Ogunjobi, I love that guy. Cam Hayward, Miles Jack, Devin Bush. That's a good defense. That's my Frank Gore award. That Pittsburgh defense, not including all of the corners and safeties who cannot catch the football thrown to them,
Man,
lofted to them by
that
Tua.
sucks.
Give me a viewing party. Mark Sanchez calling the Geno Smith game.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Ain't this something?
Yep.
Like, I don't even know what to say right now. What else? We got fly on the wall. We got viewing party.
I got a good fly on the wall.
Go ahead.
I would like to have access to Tom's cell phone, Tom Brady, for when he does board the actual flight, the worst flight. Who does he text right now? He's in a strange spot, like
Yeah.
in life. Like who's the guy or the whoever
Alex.
it is that texts. He
Yeah.
texts and is like, man, fuck.
Alex
You know?
Guerrero
Yeah.
Alex.
and Julian Edelman.
Ernie, is that his name?
Just crossed
No,
my
that's
mind because
insane.
there's times when I get on the plane and I'm like, I got to text somebody that's doesn't give a fuck about football.
Bevel Conway
too.
last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Such a shame that I had to watch that game in the state that I watched it. It was beautiful.
It gives me real Rose Bowl vibes whenever that California sun is in the early to late afternoon with two good uniforms. It felt like a Rose Bowl game.
You guys closed the show. Rich Eisen's calling.
All right. Tell Rich what up. It felt like a Rose Bowl game, right? You look at the Niners uniforms, which were so gorgeous.
Oh, you're going there.
And the Kansas City whites, which
Okay.
were spectacular. You can't be trumped with the Kansas City jerseys until you show up to Levi Stadium to play the Niners in that kit.
I just worry about the red and then a different red and then the yellow and then a different yellow. A little bit of clashing. We'll never know since Chris left.
Kansas Jayhawks uniforms. I didn't see them actually play, but the tops and the helmets look beautiful online.
There you go.
Sick. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dynamite drop in. We'll never
Battle
know.
of the Bays.
I think he was referring to
He's got to answer.
to Miami and Pittsburgh last night. The Dolphins throwbacks are maybe the best unis in football that we see once a year.
They're cool. My wife looked at me last night during the game. She said, those jerseys look like they're from the 40s. And I was like, they both look like they're from the 40s. And she's like, no, the Dolphins ones in particular.
The shoulder numbers, they like the outlines were too
I don't know
thick
what it is.
in the greatest way.
I said,
But
I can assure you that these teams looked a lot different in 1940, Kate.
Yes. And just look up at that suite. College football, Ole Miss LSU was beautiful.
Poor Ole Miss. And my guy Brad Sowell, former teammate, he has a podcast down there in Oxford. I think that's the town, right?
Yeah,
Oxford.
the Grove,
It's a great
Oxford.
little town.
You fly into Memphis, you drive down to
It's
Mississippi.
a good investment, that area.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to TCU and K-State. I'm going to go off the board. TCU, a little newfangled. They went black, black, black. K-State in the silver, white, silver. Good ball game. Probably the best ball game in the night slate. Yeah. It was sharp looking. A lot of purple, but not too much. Because TCU toned it down with the purple.
Got it.
That's my plus 400 Bevel Conway Award winner. You got a game ball. You already mentioned it. I'm going Derrick Henry, 128 yards on the ground. Leading receiver in terms of receptions with 3 on that team, which speaks to Tannehill doesn't have that A.J. Brown. He doesn't have Julio. It's Derrick Henry's ball club.
But I got to say, Austin Hooper.
Okay. Also with 3.
He took a shit. He in a good way. He dropped a good, healthy, a lot of, what is that, fiber? A lot of fiber in that guy's diet because he shit. At the end of the game, when they needed the most, he made a huge catch. And we had it up there earlier, but
And you're calling that a shit.
he took a shit on them.
Oh, okay. On them.
Yeah, so here's the Austin Hooper catch. They need it. Fourth quarter, Tennessee's up 6 points. Now run it back one more time.
Oh, wow.
This is an ill-advised throw for Ryan Tannehill. He gets outside of pressure. 2 things you can't do here. You can't take a sack and move further back, and you can't throw an interception. So he avoids the sack, but then he throws into triple coverage. Austin Hooper comes down with it. I think he had 3 or 4 catches, but none of them were bigger than this one. He had 3 catches. He had another one, big one like this earlier. But yeah, shout out to Austin Hooper. I'm going to give him the game ball. Another obscure ball out. Not really an MVP type performance, but huge.
I like it. And that's 3rd and 6 with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Up 6 points.
Up 6. So you're punting it away if he doesn't come down with that. That's a good call.
Hollow man.
B-hole of the week.
I have a hollow
Might have been
man.
A good one there for Austin Hooper. Yeah, hollow man.
Malik Willis comes in the game for the Titans and wants to, they want to present a little bit of a sexy look. They bring him in motion on the reverse. They toss it, and Malik goes hands. He tries to grab the ball instead of catching it. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to grab it. It was a QB center exchange, and the broadcast blamed it on Tannehill. But I'm watching it, and I'm like, I'm blaming it on Malik.
Doesn't even make the box score, too.
I think it was James Lofton.
Yeah, not a passer, not a rusher, not a receiver. And Tannehill went out there for a minute, too,
Hollow man.
but couldn't get a statistic.
Can I nominate myself for Hollow Man?
Please.
Everybody yesterday was saying they weren't really hungover. They felt great. They all take athletic greens. I need to start.
Yeah.
AG1. Get it in your system.
I've been on that for a little bit and just feel like $500, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
At least.
You also look sexy in those Roback sweaters.
Thanks, man.
Or
I appreciate
sweater's the
that.
wrong word, but like pullover.
Yeah, thank you. And I look great touching this WinBet app, and I look great drinking these Miller Lights, and it's just good times over here.
Is there anything else you want to cover before we go?
No, I don't think so.
Let's play some
I feel like
Overwatch 2 later.
We
Kyle.
could talk about that fucking Niners game all day, just like how it looked.
Y'all take care of yourselves.
It looked so good.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.